The other thing that we did, which works extremely well, is the GT CBO method. So it's graduation testing into CBO. So we started off with our graduation testing. For this one, we then moved it to a scale campaign, which is non-CBO, qualified that the audiences and ads were working, then we moved them into grouped CBOs. Now, with the scale testing, the idea behind that was once we've tested it, we wanted to get to at least $100 profitable spend in a normal campaign before moving it to CBO. The reason is CBO works best when you've got really kind of properly tested audiences and ads. As far as I've seen, CBO doesn't work so well when you're in that test phase, when you're not sure if the ad's working or the creative or the landing page, etc. So we'd always test it before moving to CBO. From September, you don't have that choice. This year, CBO is going to be the default for budget management. So we're now testing moving step 2 out. And it is working, but that's just something to bear in mind for this particular strategy. The budget for our CBOs was 3 times the CPA, multiplied by how many ad sets we've got. So if our CPA goal is $30, then every ad set has at least $90 to spend. If we've got 10 ad sets, then we're doing $900 budget for that CBO. This is a big reason why a lot of CBO campaigns fail, is because the budgets are too low. Doesn't mean you have to spend $900 a day, because the rules are going to pulse out, or at least for us, the rules are going to pulse out bad ads, but it gives Facebook enough potential to test the audiences and ads to give you a good spread of results as well.
That's 1 ad per ad set?
No.
3, 5?
Probably, I think we're doing 3 on average. Okay. Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah.
So you do 3 ads and then duplicate those ads?
No, it'd be 3 ads running. So if it's just 1 ad we've found, then it's duplicate 3 times.
Okay.
But generally 3 or 4 live at any given time. Automated rules were huge for this. So I think our biggest ad set was probably pushing $10,000 in a single CBO. And the rules just helped us to, like honestly at scale, we were probably doing close to $50,000 a day, but it was not stressful at all because the rules were pausing things out. We had our process set up, the testing, optimization, et cetera, we actually put the hard work and stress into September and into October, and in November, it was actually a lot easier to manage as well. One-day click attribution worked extremely well for us. And I think the reason behind that is with CBO, it's changing the budget across ad sets in any given day, which makes that 7-day data as less reliable than when you've got a normal ad set budget. And that's worked for us time and time again. It's something to test for your CBOs, 1-day click versus 7-day. But for us, 1 day generally always works better. We did some manual bidding, but there wasn't actually much manual bidding going on because we delivered high page engagement, fast loading website, great conversion rate, and we ended up winning loads of really good quality auctions as well. But if you do see good potential, you can go and manual bid your CBOs and accelerate those results faster as well. And we were scaling more than 40% a day because CBO can do that. So in some cases, we went from $500 to $1,000 to $2,000 to $4,000 over multiple days, and the CBO remained fairly stable. And especially in Q4, especially in November, because it's such a compressed time, when you see good performance, you do need to scale faster. And CBO definitely helps with that as well.
And you were doing that with minimum and maximum?
For the ad sets?
Yeah.
No. Just letting CBO do its thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Were there any instances in that case, going back to what we talked about earlier, where the CBO allocated, let's say, $10K to an ad set? I don't know what the budget was
Sure.
for the campaign, and it went rogue for a day, and you just had to turn that thing off.
We had the odd
I've
occasion,
seen
yeah.
it doing that, like it could spin things out of control.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, our rules will be pausing the ads.
Would be possible.
Then if we see an ad set escaping, then we just pause the ad set, let it start again the next day. It was rare, but yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
And so when you're going with those larger budgets, I mean, like, are you loosening up on your KPIs a little bit? Like, as far as, I mean, are you still setting these things like 3x, 3 times what your desired acquisition is? Like, because I've noticed that when I'm starting to pump budgets, like, I need to loosen up a little bit on my rules.
You do need to slightly, yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm not going to get that bit.
Yeah.
Have delayed attribution.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like when you start increasing these things, are you also at the same time like saying,
Absolutely.
okay, now 90 is going to be 120, and
Yeah.
now, like,
So like this, we had a really strong 2 to 3 day delayed attribution. So whenever we bumped up budgets, that day looked bad, but when we looked back 2, 3, 4 days later, it looked a lot better. So we knew that sales would trickle in later as well.
okay. But you were adjusting your rules in RevealBot to accommodate for that, right? Because like on that day, like for instance, if you had like a 3 times CPA, it would stop it, right, potentially, but you know that sales would be coming in, so.
Yeah.
you
So
just
our,
know
our
that's
rules
the-
already had that built in.
Oh, they
Absolutely.
already had that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So the other thing about CBO is what we found is CBOs for us generally work better when you group them. So for example, here is a grouped 1% lookalike of males, 1 to 2% female, 2 to 3% female, Black Friday 1%, CBO interests, female, tier 1 countries. So we had multiple campaigns running. When we were testing CBOs, mixing interests and lookalikes and things like that, we had results all over the place. But then when we actually tightened it up, because 1% are all prime audiences, and when you've got all similar quality audiences, CBO seems to work better. So that's another thing about grouping your CBOs.
What about audience size?
Well, I mean, these were a mix of like minimum 500,000 size. This was all in Europe. And so the audience sizes weren't huge, but we were stacking as well. So like so we had this system of like tier 1 countries, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 were our prime European markets, for example, Germany, UK, typical big markets. We'd group all those 1% into one CBO. So we'd give it a better
So
chance.
all those ad sets have this kind of similar pool of people in size-wise.
Yeah, yeah. The bigger the audience, the better. Yeah.
The ad set was the country then?
So at the ad set level, we would, if there's particular language variance, then we'd break it out into different ad set. Yeah, so like some of the ads that we ran were English copy, even in those non-English countries. But if we had specific languages, we'd break those out. Yeah. And really, in kind of summary here, what we did is we gave Facebook what they wanted. So we got low CPMs by giving them high page engagement. We had fast testing to find those defined audiences fast, as I've showed you through graduation testing. So when we went into scaling, we had proven ads and ad sets. One conversation I had earlier is when you find a winning ad, it doesn't mean that ad is going to work for all ad sets and all audiences, because one ad is paired to one ad set. So if you do find a winning ad, test it with other audiences, but don't assume it's going to work for other audiences. They have to pair up. High spends fast, so the CBO helped there. We had highly engaged instant experiences, so that collection format is part of Facebook's instant experiences. It only works on mobile, but the format works extremely well. On the website, we had really fast load times. Like this, I've not seen a faster load in e-com store than this. Had a high converting website. They spent a lot of time on CRO, testing, analyzing, optimizing. High site engagement, low bounce rate, and high customer feedback score of like 4.7, 4.8. So literally everything we could have given Facebook, we gave them all of the best. And in return, we got amazing results. It's really hard to get all of those right at the same time, but when you do, that's when the magic happens.
Sorry, what was the converting rate? Like those conversion
It was like 5 to 7%. Really, really high. Mm,
That was amazing.
absolutely.
Storm.
Absolutely.